He lives on Buttermilk Road. He's lived in Cave Springs and Floyd County for 63 years. He worked at GE for 35 years, or General Electric. What do you like about Cave Springs?
Well, I like most everything about Cave Spring. I guess if I hadn't, I wouldn't still be here. It's a great place to live. I think uh, the only way we probably could make it better, I just wish that everybody worked together to make it even a better place to live, you know. But I think it's a great place to live, great place to be from.
What was CS like when you were younger?
Well, when I was younger, you could probably walk across the street with blindfolded. You wouldn't probably get hit by a car. So that's how many cars were here then. When I was your age, you could even skate down the road. We used to skate to school when we were in high school. We skate to school from 3 miles out. Wheels didn't last long, skates, but there just wasn't any cars back then. So there's a lot of difference in the people probably and the homes. There wasn't so many homes then around now. I used to quail hunt. Your grandfather and I did. We used to quail hunt a lot, and everywhere I found a covey of birds, now there's a home there. So it has changed a lot, and more people used to know everybody. We used to know everybody around. Well, that isn't true anymore. You don't know everybody. Maybe it's because I don't get around as much as I used to, but I don't know everybody anymore.
What did you do for fun?
What did we do for fun? Well, some of us were lucky, and later on we had horses. We rode the horses, and we would make wagons and ride them down hills. When it snowed, we'd make snow sleds, and we'd would ride those down the hills. And we played baseball some, and for the most part, we made our own fun. We had a bunch of us get together and we would do different things. But we didn't have a lot of leisure time. We had a lot of work to do, so we didn't. But on Sundays we get together and play ball and different things.
What? Sorry. What kind of chores did you have at home?
Well, we did everything from in the mornings before we went to school. We'd have to. Sometimes I'd have to milk the cow, and sometimes feed the hogs. You had to feed the mules, and yeah. In the mornings, in the afternoons, you had to get wood in, and then of course get your homework. But in the summertime, we'd have to go to the field and work from hoeing cotton to then later on picking cotton when it was time.
How was your life at home different from kids in the 1990s?
Well, there's a lot of difference. Where you children have all the sports and things that you're always involved in different sports like soccer, baseball, basketball, and different organizations, probably scouts, and that we didn't have. So where we were working a whole lot more. We were working about as much as you play now.
What did you have for transportation?
Feet.
Mhm.
Mostly. My father never owned but one car in his life, and I remember he had a horse and a buggy, or a mule and a buggy, but most of it we walked.
What was your school like?
What was school like then?
Did it have a bus?
Yes, we had a bus, and I carried I had two grandsons at the house now, and my son's boys. And so this morning, before I came up here, carried them with me and checked to see how far we walked. The first year I started school, we walked 1 mile against the bus. I checked it this morning, exactly 1 mile. And where we had to catch the bus. And the bus was like a model. It was gray, and didn't have windows, it had curtains. So in the wintertime, it was just about like being outside.
When would this be, Paul?
It's 1934.
And where did you catch the bus?
Now that, where the Henson Road comes out down below Lewis Mars Hill, and, right on the side of Buford Robinson Town.
What time did you have to get to school?
I don't know, but I remember walking in the wintertime, it's dark. I don't remember in the mornings, but I don't remember what time we went to school.
Did a bunch of you walk together?
No, my brother and I, we were the only two that, well, some more people caught the bus there, but we're the only two that walked from where we did. That was my first year, and he was 9, I was 6, so he's probably in the 3rd grade, and I was the first. That same year, my mother died. In fact, 2 months, almost 3 months after I started school, my mother died. So that left 3 of us. My dad with 3 little ones, 9 and 6, and I have a sister who was 4. So he was the one that was having a hard time after that.
Did you have a lunchroom?
No, we didn't have a lunchroom. I remember being embarrassed about having to bring biscuits to school. You know, we had to carry our lunch. We had biscuits. Of course now, you know, people love biscuits, but back then we were embarrassed to bring them because we shouldn't have been, but we were.
Were other people eating loaf bread or something like that?
Yeah, you had some folks that did, but not many. Most of us had just lunches from home, you know, like biscuit. You know,
I was wondering why you were embarrassed over the biscuit.
That's probably the reason, because some folks had loaf bread.
Loaf bread, and you knew it was bomb.
Yeah. Which is reversed now.
Uh-huh.
Right.
What was your first job?
My first job was between my junior and senior high school years. It was during it was 1945. So, well, I worked at the Goodyear Mill in Cedartown in the summer. That was my first job.
What did you do?
I was a cleaner, they call it. I was a cleaner. I helped clean machines.
Did it pay good?
Yes, to me it has been good. I can't even remember around what I did make, but it was a lot of money to me then.
Did you get married?
Yeah, I did. It's kind of like that. Yes, I did. Jim Whitworth said that was his most memorable moment. Getting married, I was so scared. I don't think I remember too much about it. I was almost 26 when I married, and I guess I was old enough to know what I was getting into. So it bothered me a lot. I remember that. Yes, I have 3 children, and a son and 2 daughters. The oldest child was a girl, and Gwen, and then we had twins, a boy and a girl, Tim and Terry. And they're all, of course, doing real well, I guess. And the girls, even my daughter-in-law and 2 daughters, are all teachers. So, they know what it's like to sit in the classroom with you.
How would you change Cave Spring if you could?
I don't know if I would. The only thing that I wish about maybe, that that I'd like to see people work together and make it, like I said before, make it make it even a better place to live, you know, and like to see everybody be proud to be from here. And I'd like to see Floyd County have more industry for people when they finish school and get out of school, that they could stay here and not have to leave to get a better job. I'd like to see that happen.
Where is your favorite place in Cave Spring, Floyd County?
Well, I guess I don't in Cave Spring. I spent a lot of time in the park. Was when we Historical Society first started working on the buildings over there. I was involved in it in the early 80s, and so I spent a lot of time over there. So I guess probably I'll look at that. It's probably the best, like that, the best of all.
What is your most memorable moment?
I had a lot of memorable moments that I'm thinking about one right now, after being at home all for 20 years and then going into the Navy, and I remember coming home on leave, and to see my dad and brother and sister at that time was a great moment. And then when my children were born, and there's so many memorable moments, you know, that those are some of the highlights, I guess.
What was it like being in the Navy? This was during World War II.
No, it was that was after World War II and right before the Korean. I came out right before the Korean War. I was stationed, went through boot camp in San Diego. I left there and went to San Diego, and we went through boot camp and came home on leave, and then we were left there and was aboard ship for a while in Oakland, and couldn't tell you a little story about this. They call it smog out there, and I'll tell you how things have changed now. But William Montgomery and I, who is my neighbor now, were on that ship together. And we couldn't give the ship because we were in transit, we couldn't give the ship as an address, so we gave a hotel downtown as an address. And we'd take turns going to pick up the mail. And when you left, you'd have to crank the gangplank, and what a gangplank is when you board the ship, that's a walkway to get on the ship. So there are a lot of ships there, docked there, so you count the gangplank as you leave and see which number yours was, because when you got back at dark, you couldn't see. You'd have to feel with your hands to go down through and find where your ship was. But we'd go alone, you know, and nobody'd bother you. But now you couldn't do that. But not even probably in Rome in the dark like that.
Does anybody have any questions?
What kind of ship were you on?
The only two ships I was on was transports, and we had about the USS Anderson was the largest one. Well, I Breckenridge was the other one, but the USS Anderson was. We had almost 10,000 people on that ship. So it was like a city in itself. You can imagine how large. First time I went aboard, I went down and since my name starts with a W, I was last in line almost. And I went down and I was trying to find my way back out. We went down the fifth compartment. That's a way down, you know. It's like 5 stories underneath. And so when I came back up, I could hear that we were supposed to fall back out on the dock for muster. They call it muster. And I could hear this chief calling my name, you know, But I didn't answer him because I've been lost, boy, trying to find my way back out of that place. And to get there, you know. When I finally fell in and he called my name, I said, here, you know, he said, where you been? I said, lost. He said, you don't get lost on that ship. I said, you might not, but I did. So it was a large ship.
Thanks. Oh,
More,
oh, Morgan.
What were you like a government or something? Like what rank were you?
Oh, I was seaman first, but I was a storekeeper. And a storekeeper is similar. Well, what I did when I was stationed, I was on station on Guam, and what I did there was I loaded ships with square feet. I loaded the ships. I mean, I figured the cubic feet rather, not square, cubic feet. That's how you loaded ships by figuring. I had to figure the cubic feet of all things, it was a Navy supply depot, so in the South Pacific. So it furnished all other bases in the South Pacific. So I loaded the ships by cubic feet, and I figured all the cubic feet on, like sugar is on a pallet. I figured the cubic feet on and write it on all the. I had guys helping me, but it was written on that particular pallet, and that's what I did as a storekeeper.
Did you figure that like on a square space that you'd have to have for that pallet, like a cube space?
Yeah, cubic space. Mm-hmm.
With height, width?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We loaded everything from generators to everything. Sugar, flour, everything.
Rachel.
Did you ever do something unusual or dangerous or something when you were a kid?
Afraid I did. Oh, I guess we all do, Rachel. We used to ride horses that were not rideable, really, and that's dangerous, you know. I've been thrown. Of course, I guess when you're young, you hit the ground a little easier than when you get older. But I wouldn't do that now. But I have done that, and so many other things that you do that's you probably get away with now. A lot of stuff that we did because we didn't have much traffic, but now you can do those things. It always pays to be careful and watch what you ride and get on and how you drive. When you start driving, you have to be more careful now than we were.
You work for General Electric?
Yes,
Building transformers?
that's right. For a long time.
Questions?
Hey, thank you for having me.
All right.